welcome to your practice. Today we're going to be working up to Hanumanasana, which is splits pose. So I recommend 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks and you're taking this class at home, you could also use 2 books. When you're ready, come to kneeling virasana. Heavy your hands down to your thighs and start to close down your eyes. Dropping into our time together by allowing ourselves to take note of the natural cadence of our breath. The way your chest rises and falls with every inhale and exhale. The way your belly expands and deflates like a balloon. And as you stay focused on your breath, I'll share a little bit more about what does splits pose actually mean. Physically in the body, we're going to do some hamstring opening, some hips. But like every asana in yoga, there's an amazing backstory behind this pose. And it's told time and time again to encourage us to take on the characteristics of the story while we take the pose. So let's go through a quick abridged version of what is Hanumanasana according to yogic philosophy. Apparently there was a boy named Anjaneya who was a demigod. His dad was the god of the winds, and his mom was a village woman. And one day, Anjaneya looked up at the sun and thought it looked like a big old juicy orange that he wanted to take a bite of. So he leaped through the air, tried to take a bite, and the goddess of the sun was not having that and striked him down to the ground. Anjaneya's dad was distraught, obviously. His son had just passed away. And again, he was god of the winds. So he took a big breath, a gasp, and he sucked all of the air out of the world. The other gods had a meeting with him and they were like, this isn't okay. We need to find a way to bring life back into the world. So they agreed to make a compromise with Vayu and bring Anjaneya back, but he wasn't allowed to live with his family anymore because he would be reminded that he had these powers. He was sent off to live in the jungle, and he had a new name, Hanuman. Staying and kneeling, we'll place our right foot down to the ground, right elbow to right knee, hands will come to meet in prayer, and you can draw your chin back in towards your chest. So the new named Hanuman is living out in the jungle where he meets a friend named Ram. Ram's girlfriend is kidnapped by an evil god. And we'll switch sides. Bring the top of your right foot down, bottom of your left foot to the ground, left elbow to left knee, hands to heart center, chin in towards your chest. So Hanuman's best friend Ram asked for help. He said, can you help me go and save my girlfriend from this evil god? And Hanuman sat in this exact pose, and he was praying not only for success in his mission, but also praying that the love in his heart for his best friend would help him. So what this story is really getting at is the idea of when we move from a place of love, things get a little bit easier. And when we have friendship and loyalty, these qualities that all of us are striving for, we're able to accomplish more. So Hanuman sat like this, praying, and splits pose is actually the leap he did from this pose to the landmass where the girlfriend was being kept. So the split was him leaping through the air. You can return the bottom or the top of your left foot to your mat and bring your hands back to your thighs. As we're taking splits and working up to splits, doesn't really matter if we can come into the full expression. What matters is that we bring in these ideas, these lessons, and that we go forth through this class leading with love, leading with compassion, and seeing if that can make things a little bit easier for us. So we'll come down onto our backs. Legs are bent, feet are planted. Right leg comes up towards the ceiling, flexing your right toes down towards your face. Immediately you'll feel a nice deep stretch through your right hamstring. Start to cross your right ankle to your left knee, bony landmark to bony landmark. Figure 4, lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach in between that triangle shape and grab for the back of your left leg, your left hamstring, and then heavy your upper body back down to the mat. Opening up through our right hip space. Keeping your legs lifted and in your figure 4 shape. Bring your hands behind your back for a basket grip. Elbows slightly in your peripheral view. Let your head be heavy against your hands. We'll exhale to crunch our head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat and to simultaneously extend our left leg out long. Rebend your left leg, replant your head, neck, and shoulders. 2 more times. We exhale to lift, extend your left leg out long, rebend your left leg, replant your head and shoulders. Last time, exhale, lift and extend. Inhale to rebend and plant. Left foot comes down to the mat, right foot comes down to the mat, arms come down by your sides. Other side, left leg comes up towards the ceiling, flex your left toes down towards your face, getting this nice hamstring stretch. Start to cross your left ankle to your right knee, finding your figure 4. Again, option to crunch up and grab for the back side of your right thigh, then melt your upper body heavy to the earth. Sending extra breath into your left hip point. Keep your legs lifted. Keep your legs in figure 4. Basket grip behind your head. We exhale to crunch up and extend our right leg out long. Inhale to rebend. Plant your head, neck, and shoulders. 2 more times. Exhale to lift and extend. Inhale to bend and plant. Last time. Exhale, lift and extend. Inhale, bend, and plant. Right foot comes down, left foot comes down. Draw your knees in towards your chest and crunch up into a tight ball. Shower yourself with compassion for making it to your mat, for choosing to move your body. Hands come to your hamstrings as we start to rock and roll up the length of our mat. A couple times massaging out through our spine. Eventually, destination tabletop, cross your shins, roll over your legs, stack your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. 1 cat-cow. Inhale, drop our belly, lift our heart, cow pose. Exhale, cat, curl and round, press the earth away. Stay in your cat pose, curl your toes. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift your knees off your mat, straighten through your legs, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 breaths here, whether you'd like to pedal out your dog. You could look right, look left, reminding your neck to relax. Starting to find some stillness, drawing your inner arms in towards your ears, softening the bend in your legs so you can draw your chest back towards your thighs and tip your tailbone towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, take 10 very tiny steps. Especially today when we're working with a lot of hamstring work, these tiny steps are super important for stretching out through our hamstrings. When you reach the top, find your ragdoll, feet hip width distance or wider apart. Generous bend in your legs, grab for opposite forearms. Allow yourself to sway side to side. Maybe you nod your head yes, shake your head no. Again, coming back to that idea of reminding our neck to relax, especially in the virtual world we live in. Switch out your grip, bend your legs even deeper. We'll start to exhale our fingertips down to the ground. Toe heel your feet together to touch. Slight bend in your knees, navel in towards your spine. Inhale to start to roll yourself up, stacking vertebrae upon vertebrae. Your head will be the very last thing to rise. So we find Samasthiti Tahi, hands in Anjali Mudra, heart center. You can draw your chin in towards your chest. An option to close down your eyes. Taking a minute here, now that we've moved a little bit, to come back to our Sankalpa, our intention, which is really leading with compassion and seeing where it takes us. Seeing how when we come from a place of love, things come a little bit easier. This spirit of Hanuman. We'll inhale our chin away from our chest. Exhale, Tadasana, hands down by your sides, palms face forward. Inhale, high mountain, arms sweep up overhead, gaze is lifted. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, hinge from your hips, lead with your heart. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Hands slide up to your shins. Pause here, extending the crown of your head forward, your hips back. Squeeze your shoulder blades in towards one another. We inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to your high plank. Taking our first chaturanga together, roll to the ball mounds of your toes, extending the crown of your head past your wrists. Exhale to lower to 90 degrees in your arms. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Tops of your feet press down to your mat, knees hover, heart is lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips come up and back. From our downward facing dog, inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, tap your knees down to your mat. We're in our tabletop, untuck your toes. We'll start to extend our right leg laterally off our mat. So our right leg is off the right long edge of our mat. We're pressing into the four corners of our right foot. Right away, we're going to feel sensation through our hip. From here, shift your weight into your left hand as we inhale to peel our right arm up towards the ceiling, adding in this rotation of the spine. Twisting from our navel center, gaze is lifted. One more breath. Start to inhale up to your left fingertips. We'll rise to stack our shoulders over our hips. Garudasana, eagle wrap. Right arm comes underneath left. Left arm is on top. Inhale to start to lean up and back. Your elbows are going to trace almost a semicircle. So your elbows trace up in front of you as you start to arch your back up towards the ceiling. Pausing here, feeling this compassion exuding out of you. Nice big heart opener. Your head can be back heavy. Make sure we're staying active through our right leg by pressing downward through our right foot. We'll inhale to restack our shoulders and our hips. Coming to a circular motion, tracing a circle with our fingertips. We'll inhale towards the right. Fingertips are going to point down towards the ground as your head heavies. Then use your strong core as you exhale to finish up the circle, restacking your shoulders over your hips. Release your eagle wrap, arms to a T. Inhale your heart up, like someone was pulling your heart upwards with a string. Exhale for this big transition to a bird dog. Right hand's gonna plant, left arm lifts, right leg lifts. So right hand comes down, we swing our right leg back behind us, and we lift our left arm up in line with our left ear. We wanna make sure our hips are level with one another, so we have a flex through our right foot, and we're dialing our right pinky toe down to the mat. Staying a long straight line from your left fingertips to your right toes. Maintaining a straight arm and straight leg, we'll tap our fingers and our toes down to the mat. Inhale to lift back up to shoulder and hip height. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. 2 more times like that. Inhale, re-extend your left arm and right leg. Exhale, tap down to the mat. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. Last time, inhale to extend. Exhale to tap. Inhale to extend. Exhale to hold. So you're holding in this crunch. Your left hand comes down to your mat. See if you can lift your hips up a little bit to give yourself some space to step your right foot in between your hands for your low lunge. And this is where we will grab for our blocks or our books if we're using those, having them on their highest setting. Drop your hips down low as you reach your heart up for your low lunge. Exhale, sit your hips back in space, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Flex your right toes, peeling them off the mat. Your torso is framing your right leg. Flowing breath to movement. We inhale to rebend into our right leg, drop your hips, lift your heart. Exhale to sit back to your half splits. One more time, inhale, lift your heart, low lunge. Exhale, half splits, shift your weight back. Inhale to rebend into your right leg. Place your blocks or books off to the side, Anjaneyasana. Fingertips reach forward and up overhead. Pausing here, right hip draws back in space, left hip draws forward. We're internally squeezing our inner thighs towards one another. See if you can drop a little lower in your hips. So already we've done basically all three of the asanas that this story is named after. Anjaneya, the little boy's first name. Virasana, hero's pose, what we started in, kneeling. And we did half splits already, so not full, but pretty much, which is pretty cool. Let's inhale. Exhale, hands frame your right foot. Curl your left toes, left knee lifts off your mat. Step back into your high plank. Option to take a chaturanga. We'll meet back in our downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's take it to the other side. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, tap your knees down to your mat, untuck your toes. Extend your left leg laterally off your mat, off the left long edge. Start to shift your weight into your right hand as you peel your left arm up towards the ceiling. Rotation of the spine, twisting from our navel center, wringing out our core. Left leg is staying fired up by pressing into the four corners of your left foot. Start to come onto your right fingertips. We'll rise, shoulders over hips. Coming to Garudasana, eagle wrap. Left arm comes underneath right. Heart opener. Inhale your elbows to trace that semicircle, reaching forward, up, and then back. Broadening through your chest. Breathing 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale to restack your shoulders and your hips. Circular motion, tracing this oval out in front of us, starting to the left this time. Your fingertips come over towards the left. Big brush across the mat, your head heavies. And you exhale to draw yourself back through center. Arms will come out to a T. Chest is lifted, heart is expansive. Inhale. Exhale, bird dog. Left hand plants, left leg and right arm lifts. Pause here, setting up hip stability first. Flexing your left toes, dialing your left pinky toe down to the mat. We find our length, we knit our lower ribs in towards one another. Inhale. Exhale with a straight arm and straight leg. Tap your toes and fingers down to the mat. Inhale, lift back up, shoulder and hip height. Exhale, knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Inhale to re-extend. 2 more times. Exhale to tap. Inhale to lift. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. Last round. Inhale, extend your arm and leg out. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow. Pause here. Your left knee's in towards your chest. Your right hand can plant. Pick your hips up as much as you can to give yourself some space to step your left foot in between your hands. Grabbing for your blocks or your books. Finding your low lunge. We drop our hips down. We reach our heart up. Rolling your shoulders down your back. Inhale. Exhale, half splits. Shift your hips back in space. Peel your left toes off your mat. Your chest is framing your left leg. We're reaching forward with our heart. Let's flow. Inhale, re-bend into your left foot. Reach your heart up. Exhale, step back, half splits. Last one, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low lunge. Move your blocks or books out of the way. Fingertips reach forward and up overhead. Anjaneyasana, low kneeling lunge. Hold here, 2 big breaths. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Sink lower in your legs. Reach up higher with your fingertips like you could touch the sky, lengthening through your torso. Inhale. Exhale, hands frame your left foot. Tuck your right toes, right knee lifts off your mat. Step back to your high plank. Optional chaturanga. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet. From downward facing dog, inhale, 3-legged dog, right leg lifts up towards the ceiling. Pause here, dialing your right pinky toe down towards the ground, closing off your hips. We'll inhale. Exhale, right knee draws in towards your chest, knee to nose, stacking shoulders over your wrists, pressing the earth away, rounding through your spine. Can you pick up your hips 1 more inch so we can exhale, step your right foot in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips reach up off your mat and overhead. Pause here. Right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward. Sink a little bit lower in your right leg. Squeeze your inner arms in towards your ears like we were in downward facing dog in our upper body. And settle in. Inhale. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Left heel pivots down to the earth. Arms come out to a T. We're here for 3 big breaths, 90-degree bend in your right leg, pressing into the 4 corners of your left foot. Finding your strong warrior gaze over your right middle finger. On your next exhale, see if you can deepen a little bit more in your right leg while still keeping your shoulders stacked over your hips. As we inhale, we'll straighten both our legs, passing through star pose, toes out, heels in, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, skandasana to the back of your space. Bend through your left leg, straighten through your right. Your right toes are lifted up off your mat. A little bit easier and more supportive, you could have your fingertips down to the ground. A little bit more challenging, keep your hands at heart center. Wherever you are, we want to try to squeeze our shoulder blades towards one another, keeping our chest lifted. And coming to a little bit of a balance challenge, we're going to lower onto our tailbone. If you need the support of the ground, you can have your fingertips there, or you can keep your hands at heart center. We'll inhale. Exhale to just simply lower your sits bones to the earth, grabbing for the bottom of your left foot, Janu Shirsasana variation. Bring it to the inside of your right thigh. Right hand is going to glide down your right leg towards the pinky edge side of your foot as your left arm reaches up and over. So this is a good side body stretch. We're also dialing our heart up to the ceiling, getting a twist, a rotation of the spine. Really feeling that pressure of your left foot to your inner right thigh. Let's start to inhale to restack your shoulders over your hips. Twist your torso to face the back of your mat. We'll curl up onto our right toes and draw your left knee in towards your chest. Inhale, 3-legged dog, left leg high. Exhale, left foot comes down to your mat, downward facing dog. Pausing here, preparing to take it to the other side. Inhale, 3-legged dog, left leg high, pause here. Same as the other side. Dial your left pinky toe down slightly towards the mat so we can close off our hips. Almost feels like we're internally rotating through the femur. Let's inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, round forward, shoulders stack over your wrists. Press the earth away, pick your hips up so you have some space to exhale. Step your left foot in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips reach forward and up overhead. Pausing here, left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Our hips are like 2 headlights of a car. We always want to have them pointing or stacked in line with one another. Sink a little bit lower. 1 more breath, firm up your inner arms in towards your ears. Fingertips reach up towards the ceiling, lengthen through your torso. Inhale. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Right heel comes down to the mat. Arms come to a T. Find your strong warrior gaze of your left middle finger now. Pressing into the four corners of your right foot, sinking even lower on your left leg. One more breath here. Exhaling to deepen into your left leg. Inhale to straighten your left leg. Star pose, toes out, heels in, heart high. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Skandasana, bend through your right leg now. Left leg straight, left toes peel off your mat. A little bit more supportive, hands down to the ground. Challengers can keep their hands at heart center. Reaching your heart up to meet your thumbs. Broadening through your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades towards one another. Remember, we're going to lower down to our sits bones. So whether you want to have your hands to the earth, you want to try to keep your hands at heart center. We'll inhale. Exhale to lower to our sits bones. Now the bottom of your right foot comes to the inside of your left thigh. Left hand slides down towards the pinky edge side of your foot as your right arm reaches up and over for this Janu Shirsasana variation. Inhaling to peel your heart up to the ceiling. Exhaling to deepen. Start to inhale to restack our shoulders over our hips. Spin to face the front of your mat, tucking your left toes, reaching your right knee in towards your chest, knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot down to your mat, downward facing dog. One breath here. Exhale out your mouth. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale out your mouth, release. Inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale to step or hop to the top of your mat. So from our forward fold at the top of our mat, we want to make sure that we have those blocks or books. We're going to have them on their highest setting and have our palms on top of them. Head will heavy, elbows will bend. We'll take 3 supported halfway lifts from our supported forward fold. So inhale to straighten through your arms. Extend the crown of your head forward, your hips back. Supported halfway lifts. Exhale to bend through your arms and to heavy your head to the ground for a supported forward fold. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten your arms. Reach the crown of your head forward, your hips back. Exhale, bend through your arms, heavy your head. Last time. Inhale, straighten your arms. Crown of your head pulls forward, hips pull back. Exhale to find a slight bend in your arms. So somewhere in between the two, chins tucked in towards your chest. Right foot will stay forward. We'll step our left leg back. We're in a supported pyramid pose. Right hips pulling back in space, left hips pulling forward. From here, start to peel your right toes off your mat, slightly shifting your hips back in space. Replant your right toes down to your mat, and now lift your left heel off the mat. It will propel the crown of your head forward. 2 more times like this. Left heel plants, right toes lift. Right toes plant, left heel lifts. Left heel lowers, right toes lift. Right toes plant, left heel lifts. And find your center. We'll take a bend through our right leg, step back with our left leg, untuck our left toes, low lunge. Start to bring your blocks or books back towards your hips, shifting your hips back into your half splits. Now you can stay here. If you have further to go, you can start to slide your right heel out in front of you and slide the top of your left foot back behind you. We're going to settle in and hold for 5 deep breaths, no matter where you are. Trying to stay light on your fingertips, keeping your chest lifted. We want to stay with the discomfort. Finding your edge and breathing into it, whether it's simply half splits. Remember, it's not about the end result. We're just trying to call in those elements of the story. Compassion, friendship, last breath. Start to drag your right heel as slowly as you can. You want to come out even slower than we came in. Back towards your hips. Then you can plant your right knee down to your mat. We're in our kneeling Just as we started, slide your props back to the top of your mat. Walk yourself out to tabletop. We'll inhale. Exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog, hips come high. Last little bit, inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, hop or step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Grab for your props, have them on their highest setting. Left foot is forward, right leg steps back, supported pyramid pose. Coming into these little rocks, start to peel your left toes up off your mat. Left toes will replant down to the mat as you lift your right heel off the mat. Right heel comes down, left toes come up. Left toes come down, right heel comes up. Last time, right heel lowers, left toes lift. Left toes plant, right heel lifts and lowers. From here, bend through your left leg, step your right leg back in space, tap your right knee down, untuck your right toes. Walk your props back towards your hips as you shift back into your half splits. So you can stay in Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits pose, and breathe here if this is your edge today. Or you can start to slide your left heel out in front of you and your right leg back behind you, finding your Hanumanasana splits pose. Wherever you are, hold for 5 big breaths. Light on the fingers, broad with the chest. Having compassion for whatever version of your body showed up to the mat this morning. 2 more breaths. Focusing on Samavriti, equal length inhales, equal length exhales. And slowly as you can, start to drag your left heel back towards your right knee. We'll come to seated down in Virasana. Truly full circle moment, hero's pose, hands down to your thighs. Take a minute to reset, recalibrate. So we simply will swing our legs out in front of us and we'll make our way down onto our backs. So any layers or props you want for Shavasana, feel free to grab them, put them on. We'll come down to our backs. Finding Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet to touch, knees out wide. Grab one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Option to close down your eyes. We'll just take a little bit of breath work that will lead us into our Shavasana. 4 count inhale in through the nose, 6 count exhale out of the mouth. Dropping into our rest and digest our parasympathetic nervous system. So when you're ready, exhale everything out of your mouth. Start to inhale in for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale out of your mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 2 more times. We inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale out of your mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale out of your mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let your natural breath come back. Draw your knees in towards one another. Curl up into the tightest ball yet. Give yourself a big squeeze. Gratitude, appreciation. Inhale. Exhale, final Shavasana. Legs come out long. Arms come alongside your body. Take up space. This is where I'll leave you. I encourage you to stay as long as you can. Remember that it's not truly about the poses. It's about what the poses invoke within us. So hopefully for the rest of your day, you can take this idea of friendship, loyalty, and coming from a place of love. Thank you. Again, I'm Kate.